Working in psychometric testing, you can bet I've been asked all kinds of questions.
Can't people just lie on psychometric tests?
Well, the thing about psychometric
Aren't
tests...
they really easy to game?
Wait, what? Hold
How
on.
do you stop people from lying?
Know about these tests.
How can you tell if
let me
people
just get
are
the
lying?
answer. Come on.
AI is probably
Calm down.
Can't tell you as
I
good
have
as
a really
person
good
can.
answer for this.
Like,
Can't people just lie on psychometric
Okay,
tests?
it's really...
Aren't they really easy to game?
Look,
How do you stop people from lying?
I'm trying to, if you would just let me speak. Let's not pretend that psychometric testing is the only selection method that opens itself up to lying, cheating and faking. Except for interviews. Nobody's ever lied on an interview before. Right, Doug? Perhaps the more interesting question is whether it's such a bad thing. It could certainly be argued as a skill to be able to respond in socially desirable ways to suit the situation. Managing one's impression is certainly not an unusual thing that people do. You might be more concerned about candidates that don't realise that they should respond in socially desirable ways. It's worth pointing out that not all behavioural style questionnaires are equal in this front. Those questionnaires that rely solely on social desirability scales don't work very well. Those kinds of items are just as easy to fake as any other item. And behavioural style questionnaires that rely solely on rating scales also are much easier to fake. These are the kinds of questionnaires that ask candidates to rate how much they agree with particular statements. The much better questionnaires on the market use both ratings and ranking systems. These kinds of questionnaires allow us to pinpoint where candidates might actually be responding in socially desirable ways. And by doing this, it allows us to make the judgment call about whether we think it's acceptable or not. And let's face it, other selection methods like interviews and resumes don't really allow us to do this, do they? Do I have any other tips on this? Firstly, always encourage your candidates to be as open and honest as possible. Secondly, it's probably best to not let your candidates know exactly what behavioural criteria you're looking for in your job ad. Thirdly, tell your candidates that you're going to give them feedback on their results afterwards. And lastly, tell candidates that there are checks and balances in the questionnaire itself. This tends to deter them away from faking. So as usual, I leave you with a few thoughts and questions for you to ponder. Firstly, do you think that maybe we're giving psychometric tests a bit too much of a hard time due to their fakeability? It's not as if they're the only selection method that opened themselves up to this, and they're not that easy to fake if you're using a questionnaire that has both rating and ranking systems in it. And how do you feel about impression management? Are you concerned by candidates responding in socially desirable ways? Or are you more concerned with their failure to do so? Please leave a comment in the section below. I'd love to hear back from you. Well, that's all from me. Until next time.